The year before, we were actually in Osaka, and it was the anniversary of the 50th year of statehood for Hawaii. It was August 21, 2009, and I woke up and I couldn't sleep because the time changed, you know, and I started thinking about that it was the 50th anniversary back in Hawaii, but how come Hawaiian musicians are traveling halfway around the world in Japan to play music, and what has changed over 50 years, how much a lot of things have changed. And so it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I started to write strolling on the beach at Waikiki. And my mind was thinking of like what it was like 50 years ago and what somebody would think of about Waikiki, why they would want to come. So it talks about just kind of strolling on the beach and taking your shoes off and relaxing and smelling the flowers and hearing the music, and that's, I think, what captures people. And so that was the start of Romantic Waikiki, and we started then researching other music from 40, 50 years ago. And we wrote more songs for the record, and then we took some of those songs from 40, 50 years ago and we redid them.
Walking along the beach at night, like at this time of night, from between like the Moana Hotel and this part in the Sheraton, right, that little stretch of beach is so, you can hear the music coming from the Moana under the banyan tree and from Duke's and from sometimes right here, you know, and yeah, I think it's so beautiful, especially when there's a full moon, because you can see Diamond Head and then the moon, and you hear the surf and you hear the music, and the beach is nice and wide, and to me that's, yeah, very romantic.
Because of the language barrier, initially it's a little harder to translate, but as we continue singing, you know, in the venues that we performed in, we can see everyone's faces, and they enjoyed it so much. They're very respectful. One thing about Japanese people, they sit and they listen. They're very respectful. Where Hawaiians are like, yeah, you know, while you're singing and stuff, but they just loved it.
One thing that was interesting for us was when in Hawaii, at the end you say hanaho, you know, like encore, hanaho, but in Japan they would go. And we didn't know that's what, but in that rhythm, yeah. So we thought, what is that?
For me, that's kind of special because I don't know if I've ever written a song like with somebody specific in mind. So I describe her, you know, in the song. So it's a story about a beautiful hula girl who's in the moonlight and she's dancing. She hears the music in her head and she's dancing along the shore. And this Hawaiian boy is watching her. And then the second verse, he approaches her and they fall in love. And so it kind of tells a story of their romance as it develops in Waikiki.
Royal Hawaiian Hotel. Ahena nila ke hula line. Ahena ni maoli no.